Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all well, and thank you very much for joining us today. So we thought we'd run this event so we could shed a little bit of light on Training 2000, maybe give some updates on the current climate with COVID and some of the incentives that are available for companies taking on apprentices. We're also going to just have a deeper look at the apprenticeships that we offer as a company, and then Elliot will be talking about the levy and the 20% off the job, because that is a bit of a tricky one, and Vicky will be touching base on the incentives and the actual apprenticeships we run. So both Elliot, Vicky and myself, Ed Belshaw, are account managers for Training 2000, so you'll be dealing with one of us at some point. We also got our special guest Lisa Edge from Lancashare, so she'll be doing a presentation as well, just to give you an overview of Lancashare. So really looking forward to that. Brilliant. So if we start the PowerPoint, that'd be great. So you should hopefully all see the PowerPoint. If you could just give me a thumbs up if you can see, or a yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. Fantastic. Right. So for those of you who don't know, Training 2000 has been established for over 50+ years. We work across the whole of the UK, so we're not just northwest. We absolutely go down south, we go up north, we go to Wales, so we go all over. So Training 2000, so we deal primarily with training and apprenticeships. So we work across roughly about 7 sectors in the work industry. So Vicky will go into a lot more detail into what they are. So if you do have any questions, either put a chat, or just feel free just to call out and we can answer that, or at the end if you want to do that, then that's absolutely fine. So next slide please. So some of the companies that we work with are Rolls-Royce, Fort Vale, Chubb, Dr. Oetker and Blackburn Darwin. So they're just some of the more larger companies we work with. We work with hundreds of independents, so we're happy to work with them. So moving on, so as of February this year, we were Ofsteded and we got a good, which we're absolutely ecstatic with, especially in the current climate, because it was just when COVID was hitting. So it was really weird. We weren't allowed to shake hands with any of the inspectors, so it was a real testing time, but we got a good, which we were so happy with. Then secondly, and just most recently, we got the medium-sized UK provider for best in country for AAT, so AAT is accountancy. So we're really chuffed with that, just to show that hard work we've been doing. One of the other areas we do cover at Training 2000 is the traineeship. So for those of you who aren't aware of what a traineeship is, it's a course where a student would come to us for 4 weeks. We give them some employability skills. So that basically is CV writing, cover letter writing. We'll give them some interview techniques and how to become overall more polished in the workplace. Then we also put them in one of our industrial areas. So we run 5 traineeships. So automotive, dental nursing, business admin, accountancy, engineering, and information technology. So within those areas, they will go into our workshop, they might go into our classroom if it's more admin based, and they'll learn from one of our tutors about what that industry looks like, get some experience with that CV. And the main part of a traineeship is for them to go on an active work trial, work experience within a company for up to, well, it's up to 10 weeks they could be with you for. So it is free, so you can trial this person to see if they're a right fit. If not, then they've got some fantastic work experience and hopefully a reference from the employer. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to test someone to see if you think they're going to make it within your company. So it's a really fantastic course, and we've had some fantastic success from it. On the traineeship itself, again, there is a bit of an incentive. I'll talk about this one briefly. So you do get about £1,000 incentive from the government for taking someone on one of these traineeships. We are waiting for some clarification from the government how that is paid, so we will keep all of our companies that we work with on traineeships up to date. Well, so I think we're going to go over to Vicky next. So like I said, Vicky is one of our account managers, and she's going to talk to you about what our apprenticeships are and what the main incentives are. Cool.
Thank you very much, Ed. So good morning, everyone. I'm Vicky, and I'm one of the account managers at Training 2000, as Ed mentioned. And I'm here to give you an overview on apprenticeships, the incentives employers are entitled to when hiring a new apprentice, and our degree apprenticeship offering as well, in conjunction with the University of Central Lancashire. So, apprenticeships overview. So, apprenticeships provide a fantastic opportunity for a learner to earn whilst they learn, and for businesses to invest in education for a learner who will bring up-to-date knowledge and an eagerness, obviously, to get involved as well. So apprenticeships are available for learners aged 16 or above, but there is absolutely no age limit. Apprenticeships are available for everybody above the age of 16. Our apprenticeships are either undertaken in block learning or day release, depending on the course chosen. As Ed mentioned earlier, we do cover a multitude of sectors, and the courses we offer are professional services. So within this, we offer business administration, customer service, AAT, team leading, operations management, and paralegal. Information technology, so IT, that's another big one for us. And included within that, we offer cyber security, network engineering, and infrastructure technician as well. Engineering is our largest provision. It's absolutely huge, and I won't name kind of all the courses that we offer because there's far too many. But just to name a few, we offer mechatronics, which is quite popular because it's centered around maintenance engineering. So it's great for factories, for engineering companies, manufacturing companies. We also offer a machining course as well, which again is great for that industry, and technical support technician, which focuses on the software used within engineering and manufacturing. And again, that's just to name a few, but you can see on the PowerPoint obviously a list there of all the different courses that we offer. And if you've got any questions at the end and you want to know more about this, then give us a shout about any of our offerings. Automotive, so again, that's another large provision for us, and again, I won't go through all of them, but we offer light vehicle mechanic, heavy vehicle mechanic, auto care, panel beating and paint, which they're more centered around kind of the bodywork of a vehicle. Scaffolding, that's another quite a big provision for us because we are one of the only providers in this area that actually offer scaffolding. So level 2 apprenticeship is that one. Healthcare is another great provision for us, and within healthcare we have dental, senior healthcare, and launching in January we have optical, so we're really excited about that as well. So follow us please on social media to keep up to date about that. So moving on then to UCLan and degree apprenticeships. So in 2017, Training 2000 were acquired by the University of Central Lancashire, meaning that together we can facilitate degree apprenticeships and offer a clear progression pathway for learners right from level 2, as Ed mentioned, the traineeship, straight to level 6 and even above as well. So a great opportunity for a lot of people. So for example, a learner could undertake our level 3 paralegal apprenticeship and then progress directly onto the legal practice and professional masters level 7, where they will actually become a fully qualified solicitor at the end of their course. So the benefit of a degree apprenticeship is that the learners obviously can access a full-time employment, but also education to fit around that employment. They're significantly cheaper in comparison to a self-funded full-time university degree as well. And employers pay a maximum contribution of 5% towards the total cost, or they can actually use the levy pot if they're a levy paying employer, which Elliot will tell you more on about that as well in the future of this presentation. So moving on to incentives. So you might have all heard that as per the government's Plan for Jobs scheme announced this year, between the 1st of August and the 31st of January next year, all UK employers are eligible to receive funding when hiring new apprentices. So that's from the 1st of August this year to the 31st of January next year, sorry, just to be clear. So for learners aged 16 to 18, all employers are entitled to receive £3,000 per apprentice. Now the first £1,000 is paid through your training provider, and the remainder, the £2,000, is paid through the digital apprenticeship service, which I will touch on briefly in a moment. So for learners aged 19 to 24, you receive £2,000. And for learners aged 25 or above, £1,500. So a great opportunity to hire. These payments are paid in 2 instalments, with the first being paid on the 90th day of the apprenticeship and the remainder on the 365th day of the apprenticeship. So I know I just mentioned a moment ago, but as of this year, all levy and non-levy paying companies do have to be registered onto the digital apprenticeship service when hiring a new apprentice. And this is actually where you apply for that funding, so up to that £2,000, should I say. So it's really crucial that you are actually on there. And myself, Ed and Elliot, as account managers, will work with you and support you to do that. It takes 5 minutes, so it's not a big task, but it's just something for you guys to be aware of as well. And also, please note that you can choose to spend the funding on whatever you wish. You don't have to use it on the apprentice, on the apprenticeship, on the course. You can spend it on whatever you like as part of your business. So it's a really great opportunity to tap into that. And that's me. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, thank you very much, Vicky. So now we're going to hear from Lisa Edge. So Lisa is the CEO of Lancashare. So Lancashare, she's going to give you an overview, but it's an online portal for businesses and managers to get support for their organisation across Lancashire and our other counties. So I'll pass you over to Lisa.
Lovely, thanks Ed. Just to share with everybody, this is not a sales pitch. Everything I've achieved has been a result of education, and the story that I want to share with you today is about that journey and about the importance of employees like you offering young people a chance. So my name is Lisa Edge. I am the CEO of Lancashare, but actually the main overarching company is now GB Shared. Through all the lovely sharing, we've grown. So just a little bit of background about me. This is my story. So back in 1974 is where it all started. This is a picture of me at primary school, stood on the back row with the boys, around about 6 years old. I came from a fabulous family in Bolton. Had a really good upbringing, old school values, you know, taught to help your neighbour, call John your uncle even though he's not. It was a good upbringing. I was a straight A student and I was the youngest of 5 children. Jump forward to about 15, 16 years old and my parents divorced and my whole world fell apart. By the age of 17, I was on, hence the slide, Bolton's best shameless estate with a baby. I'm 17, I've got a newborn baby, I've no qualifications, I've 0 prospects, and suddenly I'm surrounded by drug dealers, alcoholics. It was a huge culture shock for me, and I had to learn to grow up really, really quickly. But then I was given a reason to drive and get out of there, and this was my reason. And so having someone else, it suddenly doesn't become about you, it becomes about them. And I vowed that my son wouldn't grow up on that estate. So off I went to the local college and begged them to put me on some training courses. I did 3 years at Bolton College doing typing, shorthand, clerical, came out with Student of the Year, and continued my education right up until degree level and beyond. Can I go next slide, please? I started my career, for those of you that remember Norweb, the old lecky board with the green shield stamps, for those of you that from the northwest. I worked at Norweb for a number of years, passed my driving test and saved enough for a house, and moved from Bolton to Darwin as fast as my little legs would carry me. When I got up here, I worked for Chubb Fire and Security, part of the Rent to Kill initial group, and I worked in that industry for a number of years. I got married and had more children. So as a full-time working mum, and then night time I'd kind of sort the children out, get them to bed, and then decided, actually, if education's got me this far, how much further can it get me? So I continued, and this time I went down to Blackburn College, where I went on to do accounting, bookkeeping, marketing, did a level 5 in leadership, management degree, did a HND in computing, a teaching qualification. I literally did anything those guys would give me until eventually they said, would you like a job? You're here more than the staff. I then spent 12 years at Blackburn College as head of employer engagement. Thoroughly loved my role, taking advice from industry on how our curriculum needed to change and adapt in terms of providing employers with skills that they genuinely needed. After 12 years at Blackburn, I then went on to spend a few years at Preston College, again as head of employer engagement. Cut a very long story short, what happened was it became very evident to me that it didn't matter where in Lancashire I went or what type of business shape, size or sector I spoke to, the same issues existed. Where's the funding? Where are the graduates? Where are the contracts, the tenders? How do I get good staff? Which networking group do I join? And so I figured that after sort of 20 years in the public sector, I would see if we can't centralise it. it became quite frustrating for me that this county was filled with 70,000 businesses, 14 authorities, 2 unitaries, 3 chambers, LEP, FSB, funding pots, networking groups, and there just didn't seem to be any glue. So every employer I met was getting an inequality in terms of what they knew about the county and what they knew was available in terms of support services. So I made a suggestion that we pull it all together and pool it and share it. To which public sector said that's not what businesses want or need, and it's not sustainable, and only an idiot would take on a county. So I stepped forward, idiot. I quit my job and I created Lancashare. Next slide, please. So on Lancashire Day 2016, over 100 businesses came together and we started a revolution called Lancashare. It was not a typo, it was a definite spin on the county's names, and it was all about sharing. These businesses vowed to work together to share all of their resources, from jobs to funding to events to awards to networking groups, and we created together a platform for the County of Lancashire, and it was designed and developed with the input of those businesses so that they can find what they needed with ease. This slide is a quick example of what our members get when they log in. They get a dashboard with statistics, they can upload jobs and offers and events and awards. Next slide, please. That dashboard is personalised. They can opt into weekly tender alerts. We've been sharing public sector tenders for over a year now. We've put over £900 million into Lancashire businesses' inboxes, but we went a step further. We provided the bid writing services as well. We provided free workshops and some initial advice that's free from bid writers. So our members get tender alerts, news alerts, job alerts, funding alerts in their inbox every week. And the platform is completely free to use. Please do support a Lancashire business by using it. 100% of our content is put on there by Lancashire businesses. Everything they find, and Stuart, who's in the room, is a member. Stuart's uploading his news and his jobs and his events and his awards. Every single click on this website benefits a business like Stuart, because we track all of Stuart's statistics, how many views, clicks, impressions and everything, so that he can see what returns he's getting for supporting his county and centralising his information. So businesses all over Lancashire began to share. They shared the jobs, the products, the funding, the services, pretty much everything that would fit on our platform, and we continue to invest and adapt. These are quite old statistics now, but within our first couple of years, we'd shared over 1,000 local events, 500 jobs, 700 tenders, over 250 offers, hundreds of introductions, local tenders, press releases, funding pots. By putting it all central, it means nobody misses out on that information that's available to us across the county. Soon after that, we started to realise that the platform was also able to help our members be introduced to one another, and all of those introductions are also tracked and measured. They result in local supply chains. When local supply chains are created, it reduces carbon footprint. By sharing local jobs, it means employers can recruit local people. And by sharing public sector tenders, it means we're helping the councils hit the local spend targets. So for those of you that don't know, by 2022, 33% of government spend is supposed to be with local SMEs. We're providing the mechanism for you to be able to find that and access it easily and with the support you need. So every day over the last 4 years, new businesses have joined us. We've kept sharing, we've kept growing, and it's had an incredible impact on our county, impacting the carbon footprint and unemployment levels. And more money and opportunities are being kept right here because of that centralisation of data and opportunities. So we're connecting the county, we're embedding social values, we're making sure that our supply chains have everything they need, we're making Lancashire as collaborative as it can be, and it's all achieved through sharing. We never sell it, we only ever share it. Use the platform for free. As I said, it helps the local business, but it's filled with a ton of resources to help you as well. We listen to our employers and we reinvest in that platform every single year. We give members huge benefits for a tiny annual membership fee. And we make the site free for everybody, so you don't have to join us to benefit from using it. But without those businesses, without people like Stuart, then we are just an empty platform with a funny name. So we make sure it works. We've built a platform that we only succeed if you succeed. So I'm very, very conscious. If Stuart's report at the end of the year tells him he's had bad returns, then why would he renew? So we work really, really hard to make sure Stuart's happy with his membership, his returns and what he's getting, because otherwise he'll leave us and we'll get smaller, not bigger. So as I said, registering is free. There is a ton of resources on there, and it does help a fellow business when you use it. So that is a little bit of information about Lancashare. If I can just flick on a little bit, so we have an annual celebration every year. We launched on Lancashire Day, so we like to bring that back every year and celebrate our company and our county. And again, every bit of this has just been achieved through sharing. Then that sharing continued, and we started to get other counties asking us about the model of sharing and creating these local supply chains. Within the last 4 years, Lancashare has become GB shared. Sub-platforms include Lancashire, Manchester, Yorkshire, Cumbria share, and we're just about to roll out Mersey share. So it shows that ethic of sharing and working together to create an empathy economy really does work. Next slide, please. So those share platforms are also unique. We do not duplicate anything that any other business does. Our only job is to share and shout about you, your products, your resources, and to make sure that gets to people who need it. Our aim is for county-wide collaboration. We're not here to take money off the county. We're here to stimulate it and get our economy working. Next slide, please. Our membership includes all 3 Lancashire Chambers of Commerce, have been with us for 4 years, councils, colleges, football clubs, universities, SMEs. We've just had our first housing association join us, construction companies. It's a wide range of businesses from all sorts of sectors that come together to make this work. We've been nominated for over 15 awards now, so we are multi-award winning. Next slide will tell you that we are also officially approved as Northern Powerhouse Partners. That came about in our 2nd year, and every single bit of this is possible because of Lancashire businesses and their willingness to share. We also then created GBTV in 2019, which is our YouTube channel, and we go out and try to interview local businesses about real stories to find out what makes all those leaders tick. That's okay, you can keep going to the next slide. And finally, this is our current mission, which we've just received some great backing from Innovate UK for. So this is our youth platform. With 5 county-wide platforms across the Northwest, what we know is that businesses have got the ability to centralise information, advice and support for young people. So not only am I a mum, I'm also a foster carer, and I see the differences from being through the education system and then leading on the education system. I will apologise if that slide keeps moving. Poor Melissa keeps moving back. I think it's on an auto run, so bless her, she's pulling it back, so apologies for any confusion. Our youth platform that's coming in early 2021 is about centralising information and data for young people. So for all you employers that can give a young person some careers advice, a special offer, an event for young people, if you hire young people, if you've got job opportunities or career opportunities, all of those will be able to be centralised on our youth platform. As I said, it's been backed by great government funding. Training 2000, the local careers service and others are involved in the pilot later this year. I want to make sure that my children can find everything they need, not just locally but nationally. So the Gen will be a national platform that stretches across the UK, and again 100% of the content will come from the business community, and it will only get on this platform from our share sites. So that's coming later this year, and I think that is pretty much me. All that remains to say is thank you for letting us share our story, and again I can't emphasise enough how employers like you were responsible for all of that for me. So as I said, I started out with absolutely no prospects, a newborn baby, 16-year-old, no qualifications. All of this has been possible because of the chances that education gave me, and that's not possible without the employers that work alongside it as well. So huge big up for what Training 2000 are doing today, and if you need any advice, their team are incredible at supporting employers. So thank you, that's me, Lisa Edge.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and thank you for sharing your story and sharing what an incredible online platform the Lancashare is. And being from Lancashire myself, it's great to see someone supporting and making Lancashire to become an even better county than it already is. So next up we've got Elliot, who's going to be talking about levy and 20% off the job training in apprenticeship. So I'll pass you over to Elliot.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Ed, and thanks for that, Lisa. Very insightful overview just regarding the benefits of education and training from someone who's experienced it firsthand. So while we're on this slide, I'd just like to point out that if any of you have any questions about what I'm about to say and don't want to put it in the chat for whatever reason, please feel free to contact me. My email address and phone number are both at the bottom of this slide. I'm more than happy to sort of talk to you about any questions you may have. So now moving on to what I'm here to discuss with you. So on the most basic sort of breakdown with respect to the funding for apprenticeships, companies are split into two very basic groups. So you'll either be a levy or a non-levy paying employer. So levy paying employers are companies with an annual wage bill of over £3 million annually. And as part of this, 0.5% of your wage bill over £3 million has to be paid into your company's apprenticeship levy. So these funds can only be used to fund apprenticeships, and as such, if you're a company who pays this levy and you don't currently have any apprentices, I can't stress how much you need to consider looking to take apprentices on to make the most of this money. So in 2019, there was £2 billion roughly left from all the companies in the country's levy pots that was unspent. So when you look at all the potential training and upskilling in your own business and all the potential learners that weren't able to start because of that unspent levy, it's a huge amount of money. And after 2 years of any money not being used, money in the levy pot expires and it can no longer be used by your company and is effectively lost. So if you are a levy paying employer and think apprenticeships may be something you want further information on, it is something that's really worth considering, and there's such a wide variety of apprenticeships, as Vicky discussed, that it's extremely likely that whatever job role it is that you're looking for, there will be an apprenticeship that would benefit your company. And if you pay into this levy, when you do start an apprenticeship, it's likely that you'll have no direct costs when looking to pay for an apprentice's course, as the course costs will be covered by these funds in the levy pot, and as such you will not be directly paying for anything at the point of use. Now, if you're a non-levy payer, this means that you have a wage bill annually under £3 million. So if you find yourself in this category, the government funds 95% of the course costs. Meanwhile, you will have to contribute just 5% of the total remaining course costs. So for example, if you were to take on a business admin level 3, that's a 1.5-year course, and over the duration of that, you'd pay £250. If you wanted to take over a level 3 infrastructure technician, that's a 21-month course, and that'd be £750. And if you were looking to take on a mechatronics level 3 engineering, that's a 4-year course, and you'd pay just £1,300, which is fantastic value for the level of training and support that you'll receive throughout that process. If you do find yourself in the non-levy category and you also have 49 or less employees, you could find that you may not need to make any contributions at all. The government pays 100% of the course costs if the learner you look to take on is between the ages of 16 to 18 or is 19 to 24 and meets other suitability criteria. So that's a really great option to give younger people an opportunity there. So as you can see, no matter what the size of your business, apprenticeships are an incredibly good value way to make sure that you get fantastic training to a member of your team. It's also really important to stress that if you don't want to take anyone on at this moment in time for whatever reason, you can use apprenticeships to upskill your current members of staff, which is a really sort of crucial thing to look at if you want to make the most of apprenticeships but don't want to take anyone on. So now just going on to the option of levy transfers. So this is from levy paying employers who will not be spending all of their levy pot, and as I've touched on earlier, there's a huge amount of money that's unspent by levy paying companies. So this means that levy employers that will not be using the levy can transfer these unused funds to a company who are looking to take on apprentices, and this would cover the course fees for the apprentice. When this is agreed, the levy paying company must be able to pay for the duration of the course for the company receiving the transfer, and the two companies must agree to this. If the levy transfer is something anyone in this meeting is interested in being involved in on either side, either the sending or receiving side, do please let us know. There's always sort of companies who are interested in both sides, and it's a really sort of useful thing for anyone who wants to be involved in that. So now the funding side of things has been covered. I just want to discuss sort of the other support and what's required from you as an employer and from anyone who wants to do an apprenticeship. So first and foremost, 20% of the apprentice's contracted hours must be spent doing what's classed as off-the-job learning. So what this means is that 80% of the week they'll be doing their normal job, which is sort of their contracted roles, but for the other 20% they must be learning and developing. Now, this is a wide variety of things this can include. So this could either be the sort of time spent with ourselves training, it could be sort of shadowing in the company, it could be doing role plays, it could be sort of doing charity work for your company, which, you know, gives them skills and gets your company some great exposure. There's a huge amount of things that can contribute to this 20% off the job, and really it's just, as I say, just anything that isn't part of their contracted role. It's different sort of each industry, and if anyone's got any questions about that and your specific industry, it's best just to get in touch with us or to sort of look it up, and you'll be able to see, as I say, a variety of different areas that this covers. And then on to the next sort of key part of all apprenticeships is the maths and English requirements. So this applies whether the learner has just come out of school or whether they've been at your company for 40 years and you're looking to upskill them. So when they first apply to be an apprentice with ourselves, they'll be sent some information on some BKSB tests which assess their levels of maths and English, and they will be required to complete these. And from here we'll be able to gauge what their level of maths and English are and decide what necessary further steps there are at this stage. Now this is due to the fact that all learners need to have a certain level of maths and English to be able to complete their apprenticeship, and it's really important that as employers and training provider we're all sort of on board and support the employees with this aspect of their apprenticeship, as it's just as important as any other part, and without this aspect they will not be awarded their apprenticeship come the end of it. Now onto the theme of support. As an employer, this would be the main thing I would say that you need to bring to the table for these apprentices. They won't be the finished article, and as they go through the apprenticeship, but that's what's a huge benefit about them. It means that you're able to mold them into the style of work that you're looking for, and you know, compared to experienced workers who have their own way of doing things, you can really try to get them to do exactly what it is that you want them to do within your own company. For each apprenticeship, they may have different things that they need support on, and we'll make sure that you get that relevant support and you're able to support them. We appreciate that you as an employer may need some support throughout this process as well, and that's why we provide the account managers. So based on the area where you're based, either myself, Ed, or Vicky will be your account manager, and we'll be your main point of contact within Training 2000. And if you need to discuss anything with us, you can do so through ourselves. This just saves you having sort of 10 different points of contact for various different things. If you just get in touch with us, even if it's an area that we're not overly familiar with, we'll speak to our colleagues and we'll get back to you, so it'll just make the process sort of easier for yourselves. The learners who are in your company will also be assigned a CDA, a career development advisor, and they'll visit you every 5 to 6 weeks, and every second visit they'll do reviews with yourself and the learner. So as well as being able to contact ourselves, this allows you to have another person who will visit, and you can discuss any queries or questions you may have with them. But as I say, if there is anything you want to discuss, please don't wait for them to get in touch. We're there to sort of support you throughout. So now just going back on to what sort of the account managers are there to do. So it's to provide you with support throughout the process. So the examples on screen are just a few areas in summary, but if there really is anything you need to support with, we'll be there to do that. One of the big things that we're able to provide support on, which I know is particularly helpful, is to qualify for the sort of funding support from the government and the incentives that my colleague Vicky discussed. You'll need to create an apprenticeship service account. So this is an online account where you can add learners onto an apprenticeship programme, and the funding is sorted out by the government. I myself wasn't overly aware of the process for starting apprentices before beginning this role, and as such I know that it's not always the easiest procedure, especially for companies where this will just be a small aspect of your day-to-day job. So we're there to make it as easy for you as possible. So we'll provide you with the support you require to set this account up, and we have a short guide that we can send over that should assist with this. But if you need any more information whatsoever, at the moment we've sort of been helping either with voice call, doing it over Zoom, or you know, we can come out and do a socially distanced visit to assist with this, and that's no problem whatsoever. And as well as the ESA account, there's a lot more other sort of paperwork involved. None of it's too complex. There's just a few different things that we need, sort of health and safety, COVID risk assessments, all that sort of stuff. But we can help you with all of those forms, and you know, we can fill in the relevant information that's required on those. So basically we'll do whatever we can to make the process of taking on an apprentice as easy as possible for you, and obviously the continued support once you have that apprentice on board, so you don't just get all of that support up front, it's there continually throughout the process. And that's sort of a major thing. Training 2000 have recently had a new senior management team come in, and there's been a real drive put in place on the customer service, and as such it's really at the forefront of mine, Ed and Vicky's roles, and I really can't stress sort of how important it is with us. So any queries whatsoever sort of now throughout the process, do please feel free to get in touch. And on that note, I think that sort of wraps up everything that you need to know on a sort of very basic level. If anyone wants any more information, do please feel free to get in touch with either myself, Vicky or Ed.